Stephen.
G'day, how are you?
Good to see you, Craig.
You too. G'day, Craig. Yeah.
Good to see you.
I think I met you last year, was it?
Up at the rugby.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
All right, so what are you doing?
How you going, mate?
Josh.
How you going? Thanks for coming along.
Did you want to make a statement first, or did you want to launch the questions?
No, I think.
You want to open for questions, or do you want to?
Yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Happy to just go. Yeah.
Ready to roll?
Press
I'm ready.
releases.
Yep.
Very self.
You right? Stephen, a tough decision for you to retire?
Yeah, very tough. Something that's been in the last few months, talking to a lot of people that are close to me, and I just felt bored.
Has injury problems brought this forward?
No, not at all. No, injuries have been really. I've been very lucky in my career with injuries. Haven't had too many bad ones, and I guess that's probably contributed to how long I've been able to play the game. And injuries weren't a factor at all. It was completely a decision that just based around the contribution that I thought I could make, particularly with the World Cup in mind. I think the World Cup's obviously a big part of the rugby cycle, and I just didn't feel like I could give it everything I had until 2019, which is still a while away.
What made you decide to make the call now and not at the end of the year?
I just think it sort of clears the air a little bit, gets that speculation in the background, and lets the team move forward, and the focus should be squarely on the team. I didn't want it to be about me or whether I could get through to this or that, and I felt when I had a good think about it, I didn't think I could. So I think it's a smart decision personally, but also for the team, which at the end of the day, that's my priority.
Was that something that was a challenge in June? I guess with a lot of talk about the captaincy and that sort of thing. Has that kind of helped to lead to this?
I think the captaincy is probably a bit separate. We've always had some planning around that and transitioning that over to the next generation of leaders. And I think having been around this young group now for probably a few months, I think we're really well served going forward. There's a really good crop of young leaders on the horizon. Guys like Michael Hooper, Adam Coleman, Alan Alatoa, Bernard Foley will play a key role. So as long as those players can stay together for the medium term, I think the team will do well.
Do you feel like it'll make you fresh and into this last few tests that you've got left? Does it sort of lift the weight off your shoulders at all?
I think so. I think it gives some certainty around the whole thing. That was probably something I was struggling a bit with, just the uncertainty of how long I had to go and leaving that a little bit open-ended. Now that I've got some closure and some clarity on that, I'm really excited actually about the next 4 months. And when you look at it like that, it is only 4 months, and I know there's a lot of rugby to be played, but it's a short time. And I said to the boys yesterday, that time when you talk about your career, that it'll go like that. So I'm really excited about what we can achieve as a team over the next 4 months.
Pretty special to finish with a Bledisloe lap.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of the ultimates in our sport and for our team. So we know the size of the challenge, and that's why we're here this week training hard.
How did you tell the guys?
We're just down the beach actually. We've just done a bit of recovery, and I was trying to find the right time. I don't think there is a perfect time, but we've got a bit of time off today, so I thought it was a good time to get it done. And obviously very hard when you tell your teammates. That's probably one of the hardest things I've had to do, telling Czech and the boys. And as I said to them, a lot of those players I've played a lot of rugby with, some going back to 2005. I think Tatafu is probably one of the originals in the team, like myself. And then there's some players there that I've only just met this week. So there's a big spread of players, and I think it was tough to tell them. I think the bottom lip was starting to go a little bit, but I guess that's normal.
That was just yesterday then?
Yeah, yesterday, just late yesterday, we had a bit of a team get together and just told the boys. And I wanted to make sure that I did it personally to the players. I think that's really important. My teammates are the most important. They're one of the reasons I really love playing rugby, and to be able to tell them personally meant a lot to me.
You played in the front row at hooker for a long time. What do you think were the qualities you had as a player that enabled you to last that long in a tough position?
I guess I prided myself on my consistency. I tried to give everything every time I played, and I think that was founded by the value that the gold jersey has to me and has had to me over my career. It's always meant a huge amount to me. Every test match, it has the same weight. It's always an opportunity to represent your country, and I think that consistency is something I tried to develop over time, and that came through, I suppose, good preparation and having good people around me, good teammates and really good coaches.
What are some of your fondest memories, mate?
I think, when I look back to my first year, as a Wallaby. I got to meet Nelson Mandela at Ellis Park. I think that was my second test, so it was a hell of a daunting experience to play the Springboks at Ellis Park, and obviously with Mandela being at the game, that was massive. Of course, the World Cup final was massive, even though we didn't win the game. That was hugely disappointing. I think that whole journey and the way that the team came together, and I felt like that was a real moment when the team really made the country proud, and to be part of something like that, it means a huge amount.
I think you're the second most capped Wallaby now. Could you believe that when you, I guess, first cracked into the side?
Not at all. George Gregan was here the other day doing some work with us, and like I watched those players when I was a kid growing up, and then to get to play with them and also be coached by them, it's a dream, to be able to get one opportunity. I know everyone says it, but to have this long to play in that jersey has been an incredible ride. I've been very fortunate, as I said, to play with some great players and against some great players and have some great coaches. And I think that's the overwhelming feeling for me, is that pride to be able to be involved with so many good people over the journey.
And that period as well, captaining, leading out your country, just a reflection on that?
Yeah, that's something that, as I've always said, has been a huge part of my life and meant a lot to me, and I've taken it very seriously. And I think any time you're a captain of a team, you need good quality people around you, and I've always been lucky to have that in my role as captain. And when I think back to the World Cup, I think of people like Matt Giddo and Adam Ashley Cooper and also David Pocock, Michael Hooper. Those kind of players really helped me massively through that period, and no leader can do it on their own. You need good people around you, and as I said, I think this team now is really well set up to develop that core group of players that can stay together and take this team where it needs to go.
Are you optimistic about the Wallabies over the next 12 months and their performances at Test level?
Yeah, I am. I think rugby's had a tough year, there's no doubt, but it's up to us. We're the only people who can change the landscape. It's in terms of the international game and the Wallabies standing, and we need to be happy with that and take that responsibility on, and I think the leadership is part of that. So I am really confident now that I've seen some of the young players now and what they've got to offer, and the hunger they have to do well. I think the team can go really well, and I think there's a really clear plan now from the coaches around how they want the team to develop and to play.
And can they go one better at the next World Cup and bring back Bill?
Yeah, well, I'll certainly be there cheering them on. It's a bit weird to say that now, but I'll be there, wishing them well. And I think it'll be a great World Cup. It'll be in a good time zone for Australia, and everyone will be able to get around them and support them. And I think next year will be a key year for that. I think Czech will want to have more or less his World Cup team in place by next year, and we'll have a good idea then of where the team's at.
What influence?
Yeah, I think he was very supportive. He knew that I'd thought it through long and hard, and not something I just decided. I think some of the boys thought yesterday I just decided after those couple of training days we had, but it wasn't the case. I really thought about it long and hard, and I think he knew that straight away that I was serious about it, and he was tremendously supportive. I've been very lucky to be involved with Michael in my career and have him as a coach. I said to him yesterday, I've learnt a huge amount from him as a leader, and something that I'll be able to use for the rest of my life.
Did anyone try to talk you out of this decision?
Probably my wife was the only one. I think she's, I don't know why, but I was pretty keen to be home a bit more. But no, I think she was playing more the devil's advocate, just saying, "Are you sure this is what you want to do?" And I think you need that. I've been very lucky, as I said, to have that kind of support around me and good people. Some of my best mates and my family have been really supportive in this whole decision, and that's helped me, I think.
And what influence or impact do you feel that this camp in Newcastle will have for the Wallabies and yourself, moving forward to the championship?
Well, I think if you look at the calendar, you don't often get weeks like this where you don't have a game, so we can really roll the sleeves up, get some hard work done. We haven't done a lot of rugby stuff. It's been more strength and conditioning type work, and Newcastle's been a great place to do it. I've really enjoyed the week here. It's been easy, and the people have been great, very accommodating. There was a stack of kids out there the other night at training, which I think is great. These kind of camps are where the team really builds its bonds, and that's something we've really worked hard on.
Next year you're going to play for the Reds, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. I'll still play Super Rugby next year, and that's a similar situation. I think there's some transition happening there, some young players coming through, and it's important that I feel like I've still got a role to play there with the young players and see that through, and I'll finish up at the end of Super Rugby next year.
Good?
Cool.
Alright guys, we might get some shots out on the waterfront.
Yeah, sure. Yep. Yeah, no worries.
Do you want to go right now or do you want to get in the time?